Hello everyone, welcome to Coder and Boots. So in this video we are going to discuss about the topic what is personal access token and how to create personal access token in GitHub. Okay, so let's understand what is this personal access token. So personal access token, it's a type of developer token. So and this is an alternative to your passwords. Okay, so this is basically used to access the GitHub resources or the GitHub APIs on behalf of you. Okay, you means basically as a user. So instead of using your password, so we'll use this token for accessing the GitHub resources. So this will be mostly used in case of let's say you're using a pipeline, CI/CD pipeline. So there you need to pass the credential, because you will be accessing, or your pipeline will be running from a different, or a component of the pipeline will be interacting with your repository. So you may need to pull something or push something, or let's say you are committing or pushing a Docker image or something to your repository. So all these things needs credential, okay, to interact with the GitHub. So all those interactions, instead of passing your password is what it is very sensitive information, right? So but in this personal access token, the thing is, I mean, you can delete this token, right? And you can grant access to specific resources instead of accessing or enabling access to everything. You can enable access to specific resources within the GitHub. So that's the benefit of, like, I mean, using personal access token instead of password. Okay, so this personal access token, the concept is there in all type of version control systems like GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, everywhere. So you will, and the way to create this is also similar. But the only thing is, I mean, you will find this option somewhere in different places depending upon the version control system. So I will be explaining about how to create this token in GitHub. Okay, and the type of personal access token. So recently GitHub has launched something called fine-grained access personal access token. So where we can grant access to specific repositories and specific permissions as well. So the classic token, the difference between classic token and the fine-grained access token is, in case of classic token, you define the permission to the token, okay, and the remaining the token will have access, whatever access you have, right? So those access, I mean, to all those repositories, the access will go. Okay, so we cannot restrict it to specific repository. But in case of fine-grained access, you can enable access to specific repositories, and again the individual specific type of access you can grant it. So the way you enable access to these two type of tokens has a difference. That's why the difference is there. The fine-grained access token is still in beta, so that's why if you go to the GitHub UI, you will see a beta icon near to fine-grained access token. So let's get into the practical part. So how to generate? Okay, so when you log into the GitHub, right, on the top right you will see an icon with your photo profile picture, and there if you click, if you go down, you will see an option called settings, right? Once you click on the settings, so you will see again a lot of options. So if you scroll down to the end, you will see something called developer settings, right? So if you click on developer settings, you will see options like GitHub apps, OAuth apps, then personal access tokens, right? So this is what we need. Okay, so there are various ways to interact with GitHub. So one is through apps, second is through the token. So in this personal access token, as I explained, one is fine-grained access token, and then second is the classic token. So let's say if you want to generate a fine-grained access token, right, personal access token, if you click on this fine-grained, generate new token, so you can create fine-grained token. Okay, you can create a token, and then resource owner, you can specify the resource owner, you can set the expiration. So this is another advantage. So in case of password, your password might not expire, right? But this token, you can set an expiry, like in these many days the token should expire, so that even if you are keeping it in an insecure place, automatically the token will expire. Okay, So then public repositories, the repository access you can specify to what all repositories you need to enable or this token need access, right? Public repositories, read only, or all repositories, that means including public and private, or select the specific repositories, right? So let's say I am adding repositories. You can add what the repositories within your GitHub. Okay, so you can restrict it to 1 or n. N is like, so here I have selected 3 repositories. So then next is like, I'm in the repository permissions. So here like actions, administration, right? Read only, read write. So commit. So what? So it has, I mean, basically the list of all permissions that is available within GitHub, and then you can select the permissions, either read or read write. So pull request, right? So the repository issues, okay, deployments, discussions. So it lists all the permissions. You can select and add the required permissions for this particular token. Okay, and again the permissions, the high level, in high level I mean the permissions are divided into 2. One is the repository permission, second is the account permission. Okay, account permission, if you see, it basically enables the access based on the features within your account. Repository permission basically has the permissions related to the repository. So within the repository there are features, right? So those features, it has the permission, and we can enable and disable the permissions based on that. Okay, and this overview will show, like, I mean, what are the permissions that we granted, so from repository and from the account permissions list. Okay, based on this you can generate the token. So this token, whatever you are generating, right, so this will be visible only once, right? So that means whenever you generate, make sure you copy it. Okay, and then otherwise, I mean, later once it is displayed, right, you will not be able to see it again. That's why it's giving a message also, make sure you copy the personal access token, you will not be able to see it again, right? Then you can use this token to authenticate yourself, let's say in Git command line or in CI/CDs. So in all these places you can use this token. Okay, so I'm going to delete this token because anyway it is I just made it visible to everyone, right? So I deleted the token. Similarly, in case of classic, okay, classic token, we can generate a token again in a similar way. So you can give a name. Okay, so this is basically not a name, this is a note. So you can just give the purpose of this token, okay, for repo access. So you can set the expiry. So by default it is coming 30. You can even keep it no expiry. Okay, and then it gives us to select the permissions. Okay, but if you see here, there is a difference between the fine-grained one. In the fine-grained one, it was allowing us to enable access to specific repositories, but here in this case it's not allowing us to basically select a repository. So it is like, I mean, either we select some permissions at a repo level or a workflow level or a feature level, so that permission we can select. Okay, and again it is not giving, like, I mean, read write kind of access. Okay, it is like repo status, repo deployment. So it's not giving like read access or write access. It is basically giving full access to that particular feature. So in this way you can select the permissions and then create the token. Okay, so create the token. So this, what will happen is this token will have access to whatever features I selected, right, across all repositories. So the other one, it is limited to whatever repositories I select. Okay, so here also we need to copy this and keep it, because this will not be visible later. Okay, so yeah, I think, I mean, we have created the fine-grained access token and the classic token. So I hope this example is clear. Okay, so you can try creating this token and use it as part of your Git CLI or your applications. Okay, so I hope this example is clear, and if you have any questions, comments, feedback, feel free to comment below this video. I'll definitely respond back. Thank you very much for watching this video. Have a nice day.